Good morning, students. Today, let us concentrate on the role of serendipity in drug discovery, quinine, smallpox vaccination, and insulin. Okay. First, let us say role of serendipity in drug discovery. All right. Now, accidents that occur in the laboratory can sometimes lead to spectacular advances, life-saving treatments, and Nobel Prizes. You might have noticed that when you go through the life history of scientists, most of the discoveries were they are accidentally the compounds were discovered. So, a seemingly insignificant finding by one researcher leads to a breakthrough discovery by another. A physician methodically pursuing the answer to a medical challenge over many years suddenly has a eureka moment. A scientist who chooses to study a contaminant in his culture rather than tossing it out stumbles upon something entirely new. Many of the most incredible discoveries of drugs happen by lucky accidents. Now let us see first one, quinine. How it has been discovered. Alright. The story behind the chance discovery of the anti-malarial drug quinine may be more legend than fact, but it is nevertheless a story worthy of note. According to legend, the man unwittingly ingested quinine while suffering a malarial fever in a jungle high in the Andes. Needing desperately to quench his thirst, he drank his fill from a small, bitter-tasting pool of water. Nearby stood one or more varieties of cinchona, which grows from Colombia to Bolivia on humid slopes above 5,000 feet. The bark of the cinchona, which the indigenous people knew as quinquina, was thought to be poisonous. But when this man's fever miraculously abated, he brought news of the medicinal tree back to his tribe, which began to use its bark to treat malaria. The first officially noted use of quinine to fight malaria occurred in a community of Jesuit missionaries in Lima, Peru in 1630. Historians have concluded that Indian tribes taught the missionaries how to extract the chemical quinine from cinchona bark. To this day, quinine-based anti-malarials are widely used as effective treatments against the growth and reproduction of malarial parasites in humans. Now, second type of drug we will say smallpox vaccination. In 1906, a young milkmaid had told Edward Jenner, a British scientist and surgeon, that people who contracted cowpox, a harmless disease easily picked up during contact with cows, never got smallpox. With this in mind, Jenner took samples from the open cowpox sores on the hands of a young dairymaid named Sarah Nemes and inoculated 8-year-old James Phipps with pus he extracted from Nemes' sores. The boy developed a slight fever and a few lesions, but remained for the most part safe and sound. A few months later, Jenner gave the boy another injection, this one containing smallpox. James failed to develop the disease, and the idea behind the modern vaccine was born. Now let us see the third one, that is insulin. Frederick G. Banting, a young Canadian doctor, and Professor John J.R. MacLeod of the University of Toronto shared a Nobel Prize in the year 1923 for their isolation and clinical use of insulin against diabetes. Okay. Their work with insulin followed from the chance discovery of the link between the pancreas and blood sugar levels reported by German physicians Joseph von Mering and Oskar Minkowski in the year 1889. The same year, von Mering and Minkowski removed the pancreas from a healthy dog in order to study the role of pancreas in digestion. Alright. Several days after the dog's pancreas was removed, the doctors happened to notice a swarm of flies feeding on the dog's urine. On testing the urine to determine the cause of the flies' attraction, the doctors realized that the dog was secreting sugar in its urine, a sign of diabetes. Okay, because the dog had been healthy prior to the surgery. The doctor knew that they had created its diabetic condition by removing its pancreas, and thus understood for the first time the relationship between pancreas and diabetes. Alright. With more tests, von Mering and Minkowski concluded that a healthy pancreas must secrete a substance that controls the metabolism of sugar in the body. Though many scientists tried in vain to isolate the particular substance released by the pancreas after the Germans' accidental discovery, it was Banting and MacLeod who established that the mysterious substance was insulin and began to put it to use as the first truly valuable means of controlling diabetes. Next, let us see penicillin. The identification of penicillium mold by Dr. Alexander Fleming in the year 1928 is one of the best known stories of medical discovery, not only because of its accidental nature but also because penicillin has remained one of the most important and useful drugs in our arsenal, and its discovery triggered invaluable research into a range of other invaluable antibiotic drugs. Okay. While researching on the flu bacteria Staphylococcus in the summer of 1928, Dr. Fleming noticed that some mold had contaminated a flu culture in one of his petri dishes. Instead of throwing out the ruined dish, he decided to examine the moldy sample more closely. Fleming took the time to isolate the mold, eventually categorizing it as belonging to the genus Penicillium. After many tests, Fleming realized that he had discovered a non-toxic antibiotic substance capable of killing many of the bacteria that cause minor and severe infections in humans and other animals. His work, which has saved countless lives, won him a Nobel Prize in the year 1945. Okay. Next, let us see the accidental cure platinum based treatment for cancer. Okay. The discovery of cisplatin, a chemotherapeutic drug, is best known for curing testicular cancer. Prior to the discovery of cisplatin, men with testicular cancer had few medical options. Barnett Rosenberg discovered cisplatin, which had led to successful treatment for testicular and other cancers. Okay. Pathway to discovery. Now let us see what is the pathway to discovery. In the experiment that led to the discovery of cisplatin in the year 1965, Dr. Barnett Rosenberg was following an intuition. Dr. Rosenberg, a biophysics researcher at Michigan State University, had noticed that microscopic images of dividing cells resembled the pattern of iron shavings subjected to a magnetic field. He wondered whether this meant that an electrical field could also affect cell division. So he devised an experiment to find out. Because platinum was thought to have no biological activity, Dr. Rosenberg and his colleagues put platinum electrodes into a solution containing the common laboratory bacteria E. coli and turned on the power. As soon as the current started, the bacterial cells stopped dividing, although they kept growing to up to 300 times their normal length. When the power was cut off, the bacterial cells began dividing again. It appeared that the electrical field was controlling cell division. However, Dr. Rosenberg and his colleagues did not yet know what they had discovered. They thought they might have found a way to control cell growth with electrical currents. Okay. They spent 2 years trying to discover why the electrical field had such a profound effect. Finally, they realized that electricity had nothing to do with it. Cell division was being blocked not by the electric field but by a platinum compound released from the electrodes. Alright. After another 2 years, Dr. Rosenberg's team identified the compound that affected cell division so dramatically. It was later named cisplatin. Dr. Rosenberg later called this experiment the accidental discovery that led eventually to cisplatin. Now let us see chemistry discoveries past and present. Okay. Overall, the scientific discoveries presented here are some of the greatest in the last 2 countries. They have made an extreme impact on our lives, whether we would like to admit or not. It is no doubt they have changed our lives. These 5 discoveries have not only impacted generations before us in a positive way, but will also impact many generations to come. The one trait that tied all these inventors and Nobel Prize winners together: open-mindedness. Okay. As the American physicist Joseph Henry once noted, the seeds of great discoveries are constantly floating around us, but they only take root in minds well prepared to receive them. Alright. With this chapter is over. Please go through all the slides. Any difficulty, please contact me. Okay. Thank you.